in this section, we are going to discuss about asymmetric IRB or asymmetric integrated route bridge. Okay, so when we talk about the inter-subnet communication, so we talk about the integrated route and bridge. So the asymmetric IRB is not supported by Cisco deployments. Okay, it follows a bridge route bridge pattern. It means that on the source leaf, there will be bridging and routing both operations, and on the egress leaf, there will be bridging operation only. So the main drawback of this is that on each device, we must configure all the layer 2 VNIs and SVIs to avoid any traffic black holing. Okay, so it uses different VNIs in the data paths. For example, let's say we are discussing about the communication between uh, VNI 10 and VNI 20. So from source to destination, let's say on the source side we have VNI 10, on destination we have VNI 20. So when the traffic goes from the source to destination, so it will use VNI 20 into the VXLAN tag, and for the return traffic it is going to use the different VNI or the VLAN 10 VNI. So it means that in both direction it is going to use a different VNI. So our main focus is on symmetric IRP, which is supported by Cisco deployment. But I'll give you a brief about how asymmetric IRB works. Okay, let's go to our diagram. So let's take this particular example. We have leaf 1 and leaf 2. On leaf 1, we have SVI 10 and SVI 20. So SVI 10, it is having an IP address of 10.1.1.100. SVI 20 is having an IP address of 20.1.1.100. On both sides, you can see we have same configuration. Then we have host 1, which is into VLAN 10, or which is connected to leaf 1. Host 1 is having an IP address of 10.1.1.1, and the gateway is 10.1.1.100. Host 2 is connected to leaf 2. It is into VLAN 20. So the IP address is 20.1.1.1 and the gateway IP is 20.1.1.100. On leaf 2, you can also see as we discussed that it also has both the SVIs. So now when traffic flows between host 1 and host 2, so host 1 is going to send the traffic to the gateway, right, which is SVI VLAN 10. So from SVI VLAN 10, the traffic will be routed internally on leaf 1 into SVI 20, and then when the traffic when leaf 1 is going to send the traffic to leaf 2, it is going to put the L2 VNI for VLAN 20. You can see that SVI 10 L2 VNI for VLAN 10 is 10 10 10. For VLAN 20, the VNI is 20 20 20. So when traffic goes from leaf 1 to leaf 2, it is going to put the VNI 20 20 20. Okay, when leaf 2 receive this particular traffic, and it is going to send it to host 2. So when host 2 reply back to leaf 2, so host 2 is going to send the traffic to SVI 20, right? Now traffic will be routed internally at leaf 2 from SVI 20 to SVI 10. So now when leaf 2 is going to send the traffic back to leaf 1, it is going to use SVI 10 VNI, which is 10 10 10. So now you can see that when traffic from leaf 1, when traffic flows from leaf 1 to leaf 2, so VNI 20 was used, or VNI 20 20 20 was used. And for the reverse traffic from leaf 2 to leaf 1, VNI 10 10 10 is used. So this is asymmetric IRB. Also, we discussed that all the SVIs or the VNIs must be present on all the devices in our VXLAN fabric, otherwise our traffic can be black hole. Consider a situation that let's see, we do not have, just give me one moment. Let's say we do not have this VNI on layer 2, on leaf 2. Okay, so now in this situation, so if we talk about the same flow, host 1 is going to send the traffic at SVI 10. Traffic will be routed internally at leaf 1 from SVI 10 to SVI 20. Then leaf 1 is going to send the traffic to leaf 2 using VNI 20. Leaf 2 is going to send the traffic to host 2. When host 2 replies back, it is going to send the traffic to SVI 20. But now you can see that because we do not have any database at leaf 2 for VLAN 10 or SVI 10, then in the reverse direction, our traffic will be dropped. Okay, so our traffic is dropped at leaf 2. So that is why even now you can think that it is not much scalable because we have to configure the information related to our SVIs and your VNIs on all of our devices into our VXLAN fabric. But you will see that in case of symmetric IRB, which is also supported by Cisco devices, even if let's say on leaf 1 I have only SVI 10 or VNI 10 and on leaf 2 I have only SVI 20, even then there can be even then the communication will be possible between your hosts connected to your leaf switches. We do not need to configure the SVIs on each and every leaf switches in our network. So that is more scalable. So that's all about the asymmetric IRB. It is not supported by Cisco devices, but I wanted you to just go through this. Okay. I hope now you are aware about the asymmetric IRB, and thanks for watching. See you in the next section.